Welcome back to the podcast, Don't Chew With Your Mouth Open. We're always glad to have you here. As you are aware, we're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. For those of you who are continues to support us and listen and watch our podcast, thank you for being here. For those of you who are here for the first time, we hope the information we'll share today will be worthwhile and valuable to you. Chat now. Welcome to our episode of our podcast, Don't Chew With Your Mouth Open, where we'll discuss business, economics, finance, investments, and wealth creation for the global south. I recently had a conversation with someone who is a lifeguard, and we were talking through the swimming and the safety around swimming. And one of the key elements they are often told is that a drowning person will always drag down the person who's trying to rescue them. I questioned the word always. What he was trying to emphasize was, you must be aware that in a rescue situation, the person who's in panic, the person who's struggling, who's trying to survive, will grab at anything. And when you enter the fray as the rescuer, you are likely to be dragged down with the individual who's drowning. As a result, what the lifeguard was trying to teach me was that when you enter into a rescue scenario, you always have to be cool-headed, level-headed, understand the risks, and ensure that when you enter into saving a life, you're doing so in a manner that doesn't lead even you, the lifeguard, to drown. What does this all have to do with money, investment, and finances? We live in a part of the world where there is a lot of crisis. Many times, families, individuals are facing difficult circumstances. And that crisis leads them to grasp at straws, to try and reach out for help. And when they do reach out, we often don't recognize that because they're in crisis, that crisis has the potential, if we step in, to drag us down ourselves. So we, like the lifeguard, have to understand the risks and enter with caution. If your family is in a difficult situation, your loved one or someone you value is within a crisis, you have the danger of additionally being drowned yourself if you don't have the right tools to manage that crisis. Sometimes these crises are self-inflicted, numerous bad behaviors. Sometimes these are just emergency situations that occur. However, in that scenario, you have to review, are you the right person and are you able to actually rescue? The lifeguard spoke clearly about thinking clearly, understanding the risks, and being aware that in entering the fray, you yourself could drown. And this implies that we who enter the fray must understand the rules of ensuring and keeping things safe. So the lifeguard rule is simple. Don't become the second victim. Don't become the individual who ends up in a drowned state because you couldn't assess the risk of the rescue effort within a crisis. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't assist from a point of weakness. So what are we supposed to do now? You've been approached by a family member. Certain elements need to be resolved. Someone is not well, school fees needs to be paid, somebody has lost a job. How do you respond to that? How do you put yourself in a position where you don't drown with the situation? We unfortunately have a lot of responsibility as the people who have, for whatever cause and effect, made it. Those of us with jobs, those of us with income, those of us with savings, our families look to us for financial support. And in that scenario, you've got to understand you can't trade your future. Your future matters. What you have planned for yourself and your loved ones, including those in a crisis, matters. So everything can't perish today. So what is the lesson? Boundaries. You've got to begin to put solid and sound boundaries in place. You've got to prepare yourself for the eventuality of crises, and also add not just financial help, but structural help. What do I mean? Initially, when someone approaches you, you have to know you have the capacity to assist. So first and foremost, self-assessment is important. Do you have the capacity to ensure that you can help your family members? If you do have the capacity, the second point is communication. What is that capacity? How much can you support? How much can you contribute? And limit that. Ideally, you should have what we call a crisis fund, whether it's 500 Rand, 1,000 Rand, 10,000 Rand, $1 million, whatever it is for you. You should have a fund you've put aside for eventualities of this case so that you can contribute what you can. It's often when we go into debt, we go into difficult situations, we consume our savings, and we end up in a worse off situation in assisting in the crisis than we were before. Now we have both the rescuer and the rescuee drowning. So you must then determine what it is you're capable of giving into this crisis. 3, structural help. How can we prevent future crises? Is there an education that's required? Is there budgeting that's required? Are there life policies, securities, medical aid contributions? All these help to resolve crisis. An example, me and my spouse contribute to a family funeral policy so that if anything happens to our loved ones, they are well covered and their funerals are paid off. We then don't have to have the burden of paying for funerals in future. And that's an example of structural solutions. Solutions that don't put a burden on you and your household. And it's a very difficult thing because you have to manage the emotional side. Your emotional and mental state needs to be covered. You need to be able to walk through all the demands that your family will put on you in a meaningful manner. All families are different. All circumstances are different. We all have to manage ourselves. There are certain of us who have a family where everybody works and the conversations are simpler and easier. I would say to you, if you're in that position, make sure there's principles that you agree on how to help in a moment of crisis. Then there are those of us who don't have, who are the very few in our family setup who have the ability to assist. Sometimes not just in money, but in time, in effort, in work. To you, I would say, guard yourself in the sense that you are not rejecting your family and your loved ones, but you're putting yourself in a position where you yourself won't drown. We have many instances of clients and family who have gone and taken on large loans to assist in a crisis, only to struggle to pay off those loans for 5 years, to have their credit rating reduced, to which the family members and loved ones don't contribute to resolving. There are many who have paid many debts for individuals and loaned out money which is never returned. And those are the rules we're talking about. If it's a loan, what are the rules? What are the payment terms? How will it be resolved? If it's a gift, be clear that you do not expect this money back. What are your principles in your life with your family about money leaving the home? If we decide to help a family member, do we expect the money back? Do I help with loan terms or gifts? What is my maximum affordable loan amount or gift amount or support amount I can give at this point? We know cousin A, brother B is going to go to school next year. How are we preparing for that school fees? How are we preparing for their accommodation and their stipend to live? Have we had those conversations? How do we intend to support? And it's important to put those boundaries in place. Because if you don't, like that lifeguard says, the rescuer always drowns. I hope this episode was meaningful to you. And please give us a view of your thoughts in the comments. Please like and subscribe and follow. And we hope to see you next time. Cheers.